My name is Clarice Maduku. I'm the team leader for the platform for youth community development operating in Manicaland from Chipinge. Human and wildlife conflict has become very serious. We consider it as one of the biggest challenges that we have in Manicaland. I think even within the country, human and wildlife conflict has also significantly become a thorn in the flesh. So as an organization, noting that there's been an increment, I think we started around 2011 when there were serious challenges in which people were dying from attacks from lions, from rhinoceros, from elephants, and so forth. So we started engaging with the communities to try and deal with that challenge. We've done a lot since then, which has included mobilizing the portfolio committee on environment to take care of the challenge that the communities were raising. It has also led us to invite the Minister of Environment, then it was Comrade Opa Mchinguri, who is the current national chairperson for Zanu-PF, and also the Minister of Defense. We also were able to invite the current Vice President, Honorable Comrade Chiwenga. So all those were efforts done by the community to try and deal with the problem. And as I'm speaking to you, in 2022, we have already received up to 15 deaths. We are in August, and up to 38 people have already been injured. We have lost hectarage within some of the irrigation centers that we have in Chipinge, with up to 50 hectares and a lot of tonnages of beans, maize, which has been destroyed by this wildlife. So we consider that this is a very serious problem because it has led to the loss of life. Right, in the existence of our work, that is a serious problem that we need to deal with. Because why we have been in this advocacy, it is because those who have lost their life, those who have been injured, is dependent on their own family income, or they have depended on the kind of support that we give as a local-based organization, which is very little. So my answer would be that there's been very little that the government has done. Of course, currently there's been efforts to introduce a campfire project, of which the campfire project is supposed to then ensure that the local communities, instead of looking at animals as their enemies, there's need to just coexist. So we feel that that project itself is supposed to then work around to introduce the role that the government must play, the role that the conservators, like those that are keeping these animals for their own for profit, should do. So it's an arrangement between the community, those who are doing conservation, and the government, which I feel perhaps it can then be used to then place the role of government in terms of dealing with those who are injured, those who have died, or the survivors, the families of those who have died. So at the moment, there's been very little that the government has done. In fact, if we are looking at the area that we are operating, which starts from Beshnaf Bridge along Sawe River via Maronga, Chibuwe, Chisavanye, all the way to Mahenye, the role of government is what we would want to advocate, that it is to be improved, because currently it is not very significant. Okay, yes. There's been a lot of talk and there's been a lot of meetings. As part of the community leaders, we have been involved in terms of also sharing our ideas, but we feel our role can actually improve from what it is at the moment. I feel that those who have been involved, there has been too much concentration with the government ministries, with the government players who are operating at the elite level of the communities, but those that are affected as victims, there's been not much space on the table. Like if we talk about the campfire project in 2017-2018, we've been lobbying for this coexistence. And then eventually, through one of the elected councillors in Ward 20, his name is called Charles Mugido, this discussion was done at Chipinge Rural District Council, and then through the full council, eventually there was adopted a program to say there must be a Mutema Shibue campfire project. The initial discussion was that since there were a lot of problems happening, and that the campfire, I mean, those were the conservators, those were operating Save Valley conservants, were complaining that the communities were not cooperating because they were coming to hunt these animals, and also they'd broken the fence, the perimeter fence that would keep the animals from the communities. So the discussion was initially to ensure that at least the communities benefit from this project. But when it was then established, we have discovered that its implementation, what is now happening on the ground every day is that the project is now operating at the level of the RDC and the campfire project, and then the communities are no longer like involved in terms of sharing the profits. All the profits that are supposed to go to the communities, still we don't see that happening. Yes, I think that that we need to look at the policies by government, so the government does not just operate on the basis of what they just think on a daily basis. It's supposed to involve the communities and say, how do we share profits? So that must be a law from government. So the lobbying that we are currently doing at the level of the Platform for Youth and Community Development with the survivors within Manicaland and Chipinge is to ensure that at least the Ministry of Environment, for example, initiates these policies that are people-centered, whereby there is a clear program on how the profits are shared. Like we know that those who are, for example, some conservants, they are making money out of these animals, because we are talking of lions, we're talking of elephants, we're talking of buffaloes, we're talking of even the rhinoceros. These animals are found along the Save River, but more or less the profits are now being shared perhaps with the RD. So the policy is supposed to ensure that at least it is the communities that benefits, number one. Then secondly, there must also be a policy that shows that when someone is injured or when they lose their crops, like what is happening, there must be a program for compensation. And this must be at law, not necessarily the negotiations on the basis of when an event has taken place, because communities sometimes are unable to bargain strongly. They end up depending on us as community leaders, but somehow we feel that the program is not giving us that leverage to be able then to bargain on behalf of the communities. We currently, just around the first week of August, we lost another life in Ward 30. So all that as it happened, we were not allowed to talk about it because they were saying, oh, it's the loss of human life. So when you are in the communities and there's death, somehow the information is just scattered around. But even if as communities you'll be knowing, that is what then weakens us as community-based organizations, because sometimes the other players at government would want to negotiate with the family and excludes those that knows the rules, those that knows the law, those that can bargain higher. So at the end of the day, we feel that is where effort must be made.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.